Hello again, it's Elizabeth and I'm here in my art loft and I'm putting the pages or folding the pages, correcting the pages so that they're not longer than the book. I've already done the first two and last two signatures and I'm going to show you how I decide and how I do the other signatures. So the first thing that I did with the first signature is I made the back square, and then I made the first page be even with the front of the book. You can see how that was even with the front of the book. And I ended up on the first page, I tore that off. I decided that one needed to be torn off. The next one I folded over and I made it line up with that one. So I went through the rest of the first two signatures and folded over and tore off where I thought should be folded over. Sometimes when you're folding over, you might even fold over something as small as this, because then you can add another page to it just by, tipping it on to that little small piece of stuff. And this is between signatures, so I will have ample space, extra room. It won't be crowding up against the other one because, there's a lot of room in between the signatures. 3/8 of an inch, if you forgot. Okay, so to do the next page, you do it one page at a time. We just simply, look at this all even straight across the back, because that's how the book is supposed to look. Now, eventually, when you put it on the shelf or when you squeeze it, you're going to get some interesting things here. There are going to be different lengths for the different signatures, because you can see at the back how they stagger when you've squished that spine like that. Now, if you squish it the other way, you're going to get pages that stick out beyond the front of your book. So you can do weird things with it if you want to, but to pretend that it's a normal book, we'll do it with the spine kind of straight and try to get that to be even. So what I do is I kind of mark with my thumbnail, or you can bend it against the other pages and get a similar mark, and then you decide if you want to fold it this way, or tear it off. And I think in this case I'm going to fold it this way, because I think it'll look nice with these cogs up against or opposition of those cogs. So what I do then is to make sure my top edge and my bottom edge are even, and I give it a fold. Now, if it's not perfect, or if it does not come to the front edge like you want it to, say it's off by 1/8 of an inch, then you just simply refold it. I'm sure we'll get one of those to happen as we go through this. So let's just go to the next one, and we're just going to give that a little crease there to know where it corresponds. And I think in this case, yep, folding it this way will give me what I want. A little piece of a cog here to go with the cogs that are there. Now, when I'm going through and decorating this, I'm going to be putting other things like I printed out a bunch of little balloons and other types of mechanical things that represent the steam age, even though balloons, of course, are not steam powered. They are air powered, of course, with the, well, I guess it's sort of steam, because they do have a heater in the balloon, and it heats the air, and that's how the balloon goes up. But I guess it's really not steam, because I don't think they actually have boiling water in the balloon. Okay, so then we have some more cogs, and we might want those to go the opposite direction. Let's see, if we do it this way, we're going to get a piece of silver here. Well, that's not interesting, so we'll say that we are going to go it this way. And the beauty of it is after you've done all these folds, if you do them as folds, if you tear them off, that's kind of final, although not really, because you can glue something back on there. But if you fold it, you can always, later you can decide that you don't want this, and you can just rip that off. Okay, so I think this one's going to go this way, and I'm just going to estimate that, and if I estimate correctly, then I won't have to redo it, and if I don't estimate correctly, then I'll show you what we have to do to fix that. So, this little piece is driving me crazy because it keeps gathering the other things in with it next to it. Now you see what is happening here. I am going, it looks like it's getting shorter and shorter. So this one needs to be lengthened about 1/16 of an inch, and this one probably a whole 1/8 of an inch. So what I do there is I lay it down this direction so that I have more control over the pages, and I just scoot this fold out by making a little lump there, and then by refolding it. And then that will make it out toward the front edge of the book a lot more, and it will give me what I want as far as the front edge being all even. Now, it doesn't have to be perfectly even. I mean, you're going to have, it's not going to be able to be perfectly even. It's kind of rare that you would get it that way. And sometimes there will be a page. I had a page back here that was even, that I made shorter than the pages. And I thought this was interesting because I had a layout here with, you know, odd cogs. And then when I folded that one over, I kind of wanted this whole thing. And then this one peeks in with a little tiny piece of a cog from the next page. So you've got, you know, different things going on. And it makes it more interesting than to have all your pages exactly even at the edge. Or at least that's my estimation. Okay, so then the next one is about here. And we want green cogs to come over here. I don't think so. I think we're going to go with it this direction. Now, we can actually, like I said, tear that off later. And I might do that. I don't know. It all depends on what it looks like in conjunction with other things and with other things I might be putting in it. So it's just a basically trial and error or artistic expression, whatever you want to call it, of folding these pages so that they give a nice look to what you're seeing as you're flipping through it. And after I flip through it, in reality, the whole thing, I'll notice that I don't need this page folded, or I do need this page folded, or I don't want that one. I think this one's going to get torn off, so we'll do one of those to show you how. And quit getting caught in that silly little piece. Annoying. He's trying to be a very annoying book. But you can see everything is almost, it's not perfect on the front edge, but it's close, so we'll see how that one works. Okay, that one, I think, since it's going to only give me half a key, if I do it this way, I think I'm going to rip that off. Yeah, I'm just going to rip that one off. So I estimate top and bottom, and just rip it off. Now, it doesn't look bad on this because that kind of is framed. And on this side, well, we've got a key that fell off, but that's not too bad. Now, if that one sticks out too far, then you have to trim it somehow. But it doesn't. It's perfect. I'll show you how to do that too. If you have to trim it, you can trim it with your scissors. And then to make it look like it's ripped off, because we're ripping things off instead of making, all cuts on the front, then what we would do is to use a nail file to rough up that edge so that it looks like it's ripped off instead of that it's cut off. Now I'm making my top and bottom even, folding that down, and then I'll have some keys on this side to go with the cogs that are over here and the little key impressions that are here. Now I might take this, and this has got a lot of blank space here, I might take this, and I think I will, go ahead and rip a piece of this off because it's a little too far. And see, that looks better than your keys are more there. When I finish this part, then I will be putting the fringe on. And the fringe is going to be lots of fun. I've picked out, I ordered some cogs online, and I picked out some that I'm going to put at the end of the fringe so that they'll kind of tinkle, tinkle, tinkle as they are moved around. They don't tinkle as much as I would think they would tinkle, but there you go. That's the way it works. Okay, this one's going to have this folded over this way. Just want to make sure I've got it even top to bottom. Next page. And if you guys are getting bored, you can simply fast forward through it. I'm not monetized in any way, so I don't get anything for every second that you watch. But, you know, it's kind of interesting, I think, to figure out which way you're going. I love this paint. This is a color shift paint that is shifts kind of from violet to blue. And in the different lighting, as you move it, it kind of shifts. And that's cool. And we're almost through this signature. I don't know if I'll have time to do the fringe today. And I think I will flip this one this way. Sometimes you have like 5 of them flipped the same way, the same direction, and then I think, oh, well, that's kind of boring, so then I tear one off just because. But that kind of is added. And not all of these will become pockets. I mean, some of them can become pockets where you glue the top and the bottom, and then you can slip something in there, you know, a card or whatever in there for extra journaling space. But a lot of them can just be folds, and then you've got, as you're flipping through the book and you stop somewhere, you've got a fold that you can see what you have under it. And if you're writing things in this as an actual journal, you can make that an interesting point in your journal, in that you write something that just, you know, kind of draw yourself a little line here and just write in here like this. And then if somebody else is looking at your journal, they may not even see that secret spot because you've kind of hidden it in behind the other stuff. Okay, and this one goes here. Okay, we'll lay that down again, top to bottom, make sure it stays on that fold. Okay, one more, 2 more in this, actually 3 more, huh, didn't realize it. On the previous journal that I made like this, if you watched the flip through on that, there were actually 9 folios per signature on that, which means that there were 9 pieces of paper folded in various places, not in half, to make the signatures. And this one's going to go this way too. This one only has 8. I think that I didn't have enough that had cogs or something on them, so I decided to just make 8 in this one. And that's okay, except for the fact that it's not, I was like, when I was making it, I was thinking to myself how it wasn't as full at the back, at the spine part, as the other one was, and I was wondering why that was. I thought maybe I'd put extra space, but then I realized, of course, I had not put extra space because the other one was 3/8 of an inch between signatures, and so was this one. And I'm going to go ahead and fold this and just fold it where I think it's going to fold. Because if you notice, when you lay a book out and you've got your signature laying like that, it's like each one steps back just a smidge. Then when you sit it up straight, and this silly thing again, you've got your things all even, hopefully, and we don't. We've got one that's really standing out here, and we're going to take care of him and fold that just a little more. Fold it in just a little more. Let's see what we've got now. Now that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Now I have one more signature to do, so we can kind of fold that one over there. And this one is going to have just a smidge of the cogs showing on this side. But that is one of the cogs that is kind of touchy-feely. You can feel it raised from the page, so I am not going to tear that off, even though maybe I should. I will tear off the next page because it's not enough to fold over, I don't think. So it was about this much. Just put my ruler down and, you know, hold next to the ruler and tear it off. Now it does have a little extra there because that paint's kind of thick, so it's sticking out. And if I don't want that to stick out, I can just tear it off like that. And this is didn't get torn off as much, so we'll just give it a little extra tear. And if you tear it a little too much, don't worry about it. I mean, it's not enough to worry about. And we hold that up again. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go at this from the back as well as I already went at it a little bit from the front, but let's go ahead and fold that over, see where that would fold to. Ah, that was the last one of the other signature. So we're going to fold this back so that it has some interest in between these two signatures. So we have these little cogs here. And this one will probably get folded this way. Let's do that. And I can see where that's folded. Barely. Barely see it. And then you're going to have a signature, a page spread that looks like that. So that's kind of neat, having them on both sides. I may tear off a little bit more of this and give it about the same width as this. Sometimes that'll make it a better, aesthetically pleasing page spread. Okay, let's see. I don't know, let's look at this. Okay, so I like this blue and orange piece here, so I think I'm going to fold this way. I may tear that off eventually. Let's see how far that goes. Yeah, that looks about right. I did fold it up next to the one, but it didn't get very much of a crease, so I couldn't tell. We'll see when we flip it up again, see if it's right. Yep, pretty good. Okay, this next one. Maybe my fingernail at the edge, maybe even along the whole thing. Kind of like scoring it with my fingernail. See that? See that? Ooh, I like that. We'll turn it this way. I think I'll probably tear that one off. Why don't I just do that? I don't need them all to be folded. So we'll just go ahead and tear that off. Okay, next. Ah, this one's pretty. Look at that golden cog. Look at that. Gold and blue. It's pretty. Sometimes they look like they're not folded straight, and sometimes they're not folded straight. You have to refold them. And then when you see a piece of paint in behind it like that, it's like, is that really right? But that one is okay. This one has really pretty blue here, and when I fold it this way, it will reflect the blue and gold on that one. So that's going to look good. Let's see how we're doing on our time. 18 minutes. Good. We might have time to do some fringe. Okay, let's get with this so we can get our fringe done. Some of our fringe, anyway. Okay, put a little mark there. Just fold that over. That folded over a long way, didn't it? Making it even on the top and the bottom. It looks pretty good. This one I think I'll tear off. So I'm going to turn my book around, and I just put my ruler under the edge of this and just make it right up against the edge. Almost. Give it a little tear, and then we have that. Okay. Next one. Yeah, we'll fold this one back. And make sure it's down against the table when we do this. Otherwise, we'll be working in the air and we'll have some things that are totally wrong, totally messed up. Okay, here we go again. How's that look? And you can see from the top of the book, when I hold the spine, you can see this pretty even. Pretty even on the front. I'm pleased with that. Alright, you quit trying to bend and mess up now that I'm bragging on you. You're messing up. You want to mess up? Yes. Okay, I think this will be neat because you've got the juxtaposition of these keys with this with these cogs on this side. And the same on, ooh, that's pretty. Okay, this one will probably be torn off because there's not enough key stuff to go over to there. And there's not enough blue stuff to go the other way. So, yep, I think I'll tear that off. Let's put this down with my ruler. And we'll just rip that guy loose. I didn't have any boo-boos like I had earlier where I had to shorten a page by minuscule amount. When I do that, I just scissor it off, cut it off, and then file the edge of it so that it looks like it's been torn. There we go. That looks pretty good. We've got about 2 more pages. And then we'll do a fringe piece. Fringes are fun. I think I'm going to tear that one off too. Nah, we're not going to worry about putting that other one down. We'll get it close enough. See, there was nothing on that piece. And this next one, oh, that's pretty. Do we want the blue to go this way or do we want the copper to go this way? I think we want the copper to go this way, so we'll go ahead and fold that. And then if it's not the right size, we'll refold it. Let's see. Stand up. Yep. Well, it's a little too tall, so we're going to refold it. Come on, let go. So we fold it a little farther down. There we go. And this one, I didn't leave that one very long, did I? I need to tear off about 1/4 of an inch. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And I'm tearing that guy off. So we'll have several in the middle maybe that are torn off that that'll be all right. And this purple cogs is going to go this way. Check it in a second, make sure it's right. And then we have our book, and you can see from the top that the front edge is pretty close. So now we can tie our ties if we wish. It's going to be just tied in a little bow. I don't even know if I have it right set up or not. It's not going to really matter because what I'm going to do next is put my fringe on. So to do my fringe, what I do is I'm going to have, in this case, I want to have a few little beads, and I decided on these pretty little multicolored beads. And you want to find ones that have big enough holes in them. I think I'm going to put 2 beads, then one of the paper beads. So 1. 2. And if they don't string, if your thread doesn't string through the holes, then you can re-wax it with your wax. Okay, now my paper beads, I think I got these, just somebody gave them to me, I think. And sometimes your paper beads have their holes crushed. Well, you can fix that by just trimming them off, and then it usually opens up. Sometimes I take my my skewer and go ahead and kind of push that in there a little bit to make that end a little bit open so that I can get my string through there, because that's sometimes the hardest place. You can always wax your thread a little bit more to make it string through there, but we're doing this all without a needle, because the needle, the eye of the needle is sometimes larger than the holes of your beads, so it's easier just to do it pushing your string through and having it come through. Then I'm going to put 3 beads on. 1. Come on, you. Twist. And this is arbitrary. I'm just making this up as I go. 2 and 3. And you don't want to choose ones that it barely goes through. You want ones that it goes through easy enough, because you're going to have to come back through those. Then we're going to put a little charm on the end. And the charm I chose, I think I'm going to put this other one on the end. No, I'll put this one on the end. Put a gold one on the end. So I'm going to go through the charm, and then I have to go back through my beads. So the way to do that is to take your thread and kind of mesh it with the other thread, and then if you do it right, if you're lucky and you do it right, your beads will slide just straight down there. See, 3 beads already down there. And then your paper bead will slide down there. But what we're going to do is we're going to have our charms to be at the point on the book where they will barely hit the edge of the book. So they'll hang a little farther than the edge of the book, but not totally down on the table. So when it sits up, it's going to hit the table like that, and it's going to have a little play in it. Okay, see how that is? It's up off the table. So now what we're going to do is we're going to glue our thread so that it won't unglue. I think I should have put 3 beads at the top, so I'm going to have to just undo this. I think 3 beads at the top and then 3 beads there will be best, instead of 2 beads at the top and 3 there. I think it would look better if I do it that way. I did not try this ahead of time. I maybe should have, but I figured I could figure it out, and I didn't think I would be doing it. I'm not going to be doing it all on camera. I just chose randomly one of my paper beads. Again, just twist that with the wax on it. It will stay straight so that you can thread it through your paper bead and your other beads, left-handed or right-handed, whatever you are. Don't do that. Don't knock it off. Okay, where are you, beads? One there. One there. Come on. All right, where'd the hole go? There it is. Okay, again, we're putting on our cog. And then we're going to... I did get some cogs from Bead Treasures, but I noticed that they were a little bit skinnier, thinner in their makeup. So when I'm putting cogs on the pages, I may use those rather than the ones I got from Amazon, which are what these are. Again, I'm going to have that cog overlap the edge of the book just ever so slightly. So it's hanging like that. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take I'm going to actually use the art glitter glue, and I'm going to cut it off where it would meet the bead. Okay, so I'm going to take my art glitter glue, and I think that's shorter than the bead, maybe not, because we're going to hide this tail inside that bead. So we're going to take our art glitter glue, and we're going to simply put some on there. And if you've used this stuff before, it's a lot like school glue, whatever. And you just we're going to twist that so it all gets mushed up together. Wipe the glue off our fingers. Twist that like that. And that glue is then incorporated into that string. And when it's dry enough, then you just slide this bead back down on it, and you will never know that that's how I've put that together. And there we have our first fringe. And then we're going to do that with all 12 of the strings, and folding each one up inside the bead, and it's inside this, so you'll never know. And there you have one of your fringes. Isn't that going to be fun? And when you sit it down on the table, it'll make a little clunky sound. And when you're writing in it, you'll want to make sure that you pull these down like this, and then you can open it flat. If, of course, you undo the thing flat. That's all I have for you now. Remember, if you like it, subscribe, thumbs up, all the rest of those things, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.